correct. The whole film is shot in Poland, and it's supposed to be in Copenhagen. In Copenhagen, because it didn't look like that really.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters that much, because it's not a film that is claiming that it's a historical document.
Right.
I think it's like inspired by true events. To me, I think it's like emotionally true that there were probably women who had similar journeys like Karoline, and hopefully the film can say something about personal experiences, like some that people probably would have had, that would have an emotional experience similar to it, but it doesn't mean the world looked exactly like that.
Yeah, it's about the ecstatic truth. Okay, this is kind of like maybe an off-color question, but I just started thinking about it, and I was like, how was like the casting of the babies for this? Because I imagine that it was like maybe a little
It's a good question. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
Because, you know, normally you want to cast a film early on to have all the actors ready for the shoot. But with newborns, you want to cast them, you want to get them as close to the shoot as possible, because in this case they were supposed to be as young as possible. And you have to do that through, of course, the mothers who had just given birth to them. And you do a kind of a casting session through midwives who speak to mothers who are about to give birth. And it's very rarely the ones that give birth for the first time, but a lot of times when it's a second or a third child. I have 2 kids myself, and in fact the difference is so big between how you are as a parent between the first and second. But like the women we had, there's one baby that I think has at least 2 or 3 babies, because he was so good. So he's a couple of different ones, but you don't really realize. But and he was, you know, he was the best. He was 2 months old when we were shooting.
Is he the one that Elena tries to?
Yeah,
he was good.
Yeah.
I love that baby.
Because, you know, he was always doing, because you have to have 3 babies on set at the same time, because you put one and they don't work for 8 hours, right? They like need to eat and sleep, and sometimes they want to sleep and they should be awake, so you have to be able to change them. So bringing the number 2, and then that doesn't work. But this one, Maciek was his name, he was very professional.
Did you know of anyone who was like, what's the movie about? And then...
Yeah, but you know, like some people are really, I think we were really scared that people would not want to.
Yeah.
But then people do. I mean, Maciek's, this baby, this great baby, mother was standing in for breastfeeding for us, letting us shoot that. She was just on the premiere in Poland on the screen, and she was so proud, you know. I think her baby, now he's like 1.5, and got some other acting jobs. It's like giving her a career.
Yeah, you have an age.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it would be crazy now to bring up the music and also the sound design. I know we should have more time to talk about all of the nitty-gritty, but it is, I mean, really spectacular, and it's so, I mean, the music is very unexpected and so, like, visceral. And so, yeah, I'm just curious about the composer and how you found them and
Well,
what you discussed.
her stage name is Hughes Mary. Her name is Frederica Hoffmeyer. She's Danish. She makes kind of noise music, her genre is called. She's very much, she's not a film composer person, she's a musician. And it's her on stage with all her machines, and very, you know, not melodic music, very difficult music, very interesting. So it was an idea to, like, I never wanted music from the times, like, that would fit the times. I wanted something electronic, something that would make it feel more contemporary, or make the audiences make connections to look for something contemporary. And her music is so much more kind of unmelodic than what is in the film, so I thought it was interesting to take her kind of hardcore noise music and see what she would do when she gets a story. But I knew that there were moments in the film that would be very horrible, where I needed music to kind of break. And I think, that's what she can do. She makes music break.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's restrained, but I mean, in the best possible way, like, because when it hits you, it's really moves you.
Yeah, and I also think it helps, to watch it. I tried to make a version without music. Is unbearable. It was because it becomes a bit too real, or too strong, or I start saying, okay, this becomes, one part of me thinks that you could make a contemporary adaptation of this story. We could have set out instead in today, somewhere, let's say, in Poland, some of the countryside, where a woman was helping other young women who have no choice. And it could have been in color, and it could have been really realistic, and no music, and I think no one would have wanted to watch it. I think all these elements of creation that we have in the film, like music, the black and white, all this production design, this world, I feel it's like a fairy tale at times. It helps us, I think, to watch this difficult story.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a fairy tale. I mean, the fact that the baby murderer is a candy saleswoman is like.
And that was true, so it's like stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
And then once we see that, we start seeing so many other kind of fairy tale elements.
Is the thing with like the ether and the oil, lamp oil, is that where did that idea come from?
Oh, it was also true.
Okay.
Because she was using a lot of ether, morphine, whatever she could get. And in the court case, it said that she told the prosecutor that it's a lot of things she asked for. She doesn't remember a lot of things because she was either taking ether or drinking naphtha, like lamp oil. And they said, you die if you drink lamp oil. And she said, bring this and I'll show you. So I think it also inspires this kind of not human element, I think, of her.
Yeah.
That she is able to do things that humans can't.
Right, and she does need some kind of like coping. She needs something to help her get through it.
But also like in the way, I don't know, like in Gotham City when the crime gets out of hand and Batman arrives because society can't cope with it, or the Joker arrives because of something else. And I think in a way that Dagmar, in a similar way, existed.
Yeah, oh, I love that. The sound, there's a lot of moments where you feel like, it's amazing because the sound, it doesn't stand out in a way that throws you, but it does, like, on my second watch, I was thinking more about it, and like, when we see the husband and we hear him breathing underneath his mask, that's like, I think the first time I was like, oh, that feels unexpected. I mean, how did you come up with that, or was that the sound designer's idea? What was the thinking on all of that?
Yeah, it was in the script because it's all about about making us interested in what's behind the mask, what is behind there, and then it's what we don't see, and then with the sounds, and it was always like, it was in the script, but then when you start making it and you see it, it becomes, so much stronger, and you do so much less of it. But it's also like, I liked it with this film that we were exaggerating a bit from time to time, when it's poor, it should be really poor, dirty, like hell, or leaking from the ceiling, like to this world. I feel it was nice to like push the limit of it, and we started doing that with a lot of things.
Yeah. When you were working with the actors who were playing Dagmar and Karoline, I mean, how did you tell us a little bit about the process as far as like, I feel like Karoline, goes through such a transformation at times throughout. I mean, I don't feel like she's a completely different person, but you definitely feel her changing. And Dagmar, I feel like reveals throughout. There are moments where you feel like she sort of steps in and out of the light, like you see her in a different way. How did you all talk about that, or how did they get into the song?
Like Karoline has a change. I think it's like a coming of age story almost. Like she's someone who is looking to fix her own life, and all through the film she tries to put herself in a better place. Eventually she does something for someone else. She adopts this girl and she goes from looking at herself to doing something for someone else. Dagmar was never supposed to be a character who changes. She's not a character that goes through a change. She doesn't exist, I think, in that psychological level of connecting to her. She has her own reasons and her own kind of madness. And she, like you said, she reveals something, maybe not about herself, but she also reveals something about others.
Yeah, do you feel like I guess from an actor standpoint, I wonder if it's that you feel like whether or not she felt like she was revealing something, or she thought, you talked about it more like she would play this character and you are the ones revealing about her as you go.
I think of her like, she's not the main character. Karoline is the main character. And part of Karoline, the way I think about it,